Hello and welcome to another video. This will be another Boogie2988 reaction. 5 ways AAA games, and I had to do it that way by the way, rip you off and manipulate you into
This video is proudly sponsored by the folks over at...
Let's skip this sponsor thing. There you go.
That it's entirely safe to try, because when you go to nordvpn.com/BOOGIE, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Go to nordvpn.com/BOOGIE.
Big difference with this camera than the other one.
If you sign up for the 3-year plan, you will save 75%. And if you use coupon code BOOGIE, you'll get 1 month for free. You'll be supporting me at the same time. What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live against the power of the internet. Today I wanted to do something a little bit special. I know a lot of you guys are playing video games with microtransactions in them, so I thought I would teach you guys how to avoid these microtransactions and some of the tricks these developers use to get you to purchase stuff you normally wouldn't purchase. And I'm not going to point the finger here at free-to-play games here. As exploitive as those games can generally be, I mostly want to talk about high-end video games that either pay $30, $60, $90, $100 for a special edition for just to load up the screen to see it has an in-game store trying to sell you stuff, or worse, trying to trick you into buying stuff you really don't need. And I'm also not going to be talking about season passes or individual character skins or things along that lines that you can just purchase outright. And I feel those don't belong in $60 games all the time, but sometimes they do bring value, and at least you get to pick and choose what you want to purchase. And I'll start with everybody's favorite personal offender, and that is, of course, loot boxes. And this is an argument that's been done to death. Loot boxes are pretty much gambling, and it's such a frustrating thing, because if you want a specific skin, if you want a specific item,
someone got 5100 loot boxes for that event. Dear God, I'm still higher level.
You might get a skin you don't want, you might get items you don't want, and we've seen this popularized in games like
Bro, you're level whack. I'm like over 100 ahead of you.
Like FIFA, NBA 2019, and those style of games. And the problem with loot boxes should be self-explanatory. Not only do they obfuscate the items that you do want
I like
to get,
the loot boxes
in
Overwatch,
items you do not want or otherwise cannot use. And when you do get a high-value item, something that you do want or something that you'll be able to perform better in the game, it really does trigger something in that lizard brain of ours that makes us feel really, really good. And that's why it's akin to gambling. Now, the good news is this is a mechanic that we're only seeing in free-to-play games now these days, because most paid games are afraid to do it because of the toxicity surrounding them, especially when it comes to introducing these gambling-style mechanics to kids. So this one's almost a non-issue, but I want it to stay that way, and that's why it's on the list. The next item on the list is, and this is one that gets me all of the time in the video game world and outside of the video game world, and that's called fear of missing out. The fear of missing out is really, really powerful in video games. It's the reason most of us pre-order games. It's the reason most of us purchase a game on day one. We don't want to miss the huge experience of playing that game as soon as it comes out and sharing that with everyone else. And we are now seeing companies take advantage of this in a whole brand new way with early release, paid release, staggered access to your video games based on the edition that you choose to purchase.
We've been streaming that right now.
If you're the kind of person that has fear of missing out, then you are more likely to pre-order a video game to get early access, or buy a special, more expensive edition just to get that early access, and will ruin it for you, or ruin it for you, so you can be one of the first people to experience it before anybody else does. But have you noticed in Anthem's news store, they tell you that these featured items will be refreshed in the next 7 days? This is another way of triggering fear of missing out. There's a specific skin you want, and it's only available for a 10-day period. You have the choice of either grinding that out using in-game currency, or pulling out your credit card to just purchase the skin. And if you can't grind out that in-game currency because you don't have the time, because the coins don't come quick enough, you'll end up having to pull out that credit card on the last day, and they know it. Anthem is doing it with limited edition skins, and we've seen Call of Duty doing it now with limited time battle passes, and of course Fortnite has had the battle pass system for quite some time, and it's a great way to guarantee people who want to get a specific skin, pull out that credit card, because there's no other way for them to get it in-game. Another way of taking advantage of you comes to those little small trickles of premium currency that you'll get in free-to-play games, and games like Fallout 76, where when you do certain quests or certain dailies, you'll get a small amount of atoms or premium currency, but it's never enough to purchase what you want.
Next couple weeks, we'll see how many people pick up on the game Anthem.
Of atoms as you play through this game.
This is Anthem here.
You rarely get enough to get even a basic unlockable in the atom shop. But you will get just enough to help you close the gap.
Yep, and we already know about the complications of, that shit. Fallout 76. Boogie talked about this. I believe I reacted to one video of it too. Back when the game first came out.
That item because
and how
it's not quite as expensive.
that was part of the reason why Red Dead was doing so much better Fallout 76. They came out in near close to
buy the one item that you want. You almost always have to buy them packages. Sometimes as little as $5 or $10, but as much as $20, $50, even $100 for one of these packages. So it's almost impossible to get the items you want using that small trickle of currency you've already gotten in the game, unless you want to grind for a few more months, and most people don't. But it's more manipulative than that, because when you get this small trickle of the premium currency, it is constantly reminding you that you are earning that premium currency, that premium currency exists, and that there is a shop where you can spend that premium currency to get items. It is a constant reminder, and works almost as an advertisement for that in-game shop. And this is such a nefarious system that even drug dealers use this as a cornerstone of their business. Your first few hits are free, but once you're addicted, that's when we start charging. Now, when you do choose to purchase one of those packages of premium currency, have you ever noticed that it's never the exact amount that you need to purchase an item that you want? Going back to Anthem as an example, we saw those premium skins selling for 850 shards, but you can't buy 850 shards. You can either buy 500, which is not enough, or 1,050 shards for $10, which will leave you a leftover surplus of shards. And at first that might seem generous. You only need 850 shards, but they're willing to sell you, $10 for the shards. You would have given $10 for that skin anyway, and now you have extra shards for your next purchase. But that system almost guarantees that you will make another purchase in the future, because you have 150 shards just eating a hole in your inventory that you're very aware of, that you want to spend, and there's nothing to spend it on because everything else is way more expensive than the difference in those shards. And that's by design. A new skin hits the store and you already have 150 shards, so you think to yourself, it's not that big of a deal. I could buy the $5 pack. No, wait, that's not enough because it's 850 shards. I need to buy the $10 pack all over again, and now I have 300 shards left in my inventory. Nothing to do with it. I hope they release a new skin soon. And this phenomenon is related to the sunk cost fallacy.
When it gets to the white stuff,
you don't want to waste that money you put in, so you end up putting in more just to get more stuff that you don't really need. Because a lot of us will have an emotional attachment to that wasted money, to that wasted currency. We will end up chasing good money after the bad just to round things out in our minds. And we are never able to do that because they set the pricing accordingly to make sure we can. And then finally, the one that is my biggest pet peeve I have saved for last, and that is an exchange of money versus time. Anthem once again serves as another perfect example of this, because this game allows you to purchase everything that's available in their featured vanity shop using their in-game currency, which is coins. The problem is the coins come very, very slow, and as you play through the game, the coins become slower and slower still. At the end game, coins come out at a crawl, making it almost impossible for you to purchase the items you want within the time allotted by grinding and playing the game. Now, I think it's great if a developer decides that everything they're going to put in a microtransaction store is also earnable through the game. I think that is commendable. The problem is that also tempts them to make it difficult for you to grind those items out to begin with. Shadow of War is probably a perfect example of this, because just before the end of the game, you are presented with a grind that requires you to gather tons and tons of epic and rare and legendary orcs in order to just defeat that grind. And it's no coincidence that those legendary orcs can also be purchased through microtransaction loot boxes. This ends up presenting unscrupulous developers an opportunity to exchange your time for money. Even though you've had fun playing the video game, they do know that we want to complete it. And since they know we want to complete it, they put a grind wall between you and the end of the game or the items that you want, forcing you to decide that it's not worth the 10, 15, 20 hours of grinding would otherwise take and get you to pull out your credit card. And here's the thing, if you're working at least minimum wage, chances are, in just a couple of hours' time, you can afford the item that you need, or the story that you need, or the loot boxes you need in order to progress in the game and achieve the item you want. And if they set a 10 or 15 or 20 hour grind for that exact same thing, most of us will pull out our cards. The problem is, that is just bad game design. You're designing your game to be effectively worse and less enjoyable in order to get people to pull out their credit card so you can make more money. You are making your game miserable to play because you know people will bypass that misery. Now, some people do love grindy games. They love the gameplay that they're enjoying, so they love to do it over and over again, and they will never pull out that credit card. And if you're one of those people, I'm not dismissing you. I'm glad they make video games for you. But the rest of us, either we'll quit that game or we'll purchase, and they don't care if we quit, because they're focusing on the ones that buy. And there you go. That's it. That's the top 5 microtransactions business models that drive me absolutely crazy. And this is how they are taking advantage of you. And now that you're aware of it, hopefully you can save a little bit of money. And check out our sponsor in the description box below. Alright guys, do me a favor, let me know what you think about this video.
Alright. That's pretty interesting. I'll probably still do the Overwatch, the box thing, but yeah, don't have to worry about me doing that shit on the other games. Yeah. It happens. But that's what games are like that. I'm sure there's still parts of it that are fun. So. Fallout 76, Overwatch, Anthem. But yeah. Alright, I'm in this video here. Stay tuned for the next one.